This is the story of my backpacking trip through South America. I start in Ecuador, where I will learn Spanish and see other parts of the country. I continue traveling through the Colombian landscapes, from the desert to a 4-day hike in the jungle to the lost city. From there, I fly to Bolivia and meet my friend Aranka. Together we travel to great heights and the freezing cold. In Argentina, I only visit the northern part and check out the area of Salta and Buenos Aires. I cross the border to Brazil to see the Iguazu Falls and end the trip in Rio de Janeiro. We arrived in Rurrenabaque and it was time to explore a different part of Bolivia with a completely different climate. We flew to the northern part of the country to see the Amazon. We were picked up in a golf cart and dropped off at the hostel. This day our only task was to find a good tour operator. In general, there are two types of tours, one in the Pampas and one in the jungle. After a thorough investigation, we decided to do the Pampas tour. We can definitely recommend dolphins travel. The accommodation was good. Unfortunately, during our stay it was cold, at least for Amazon standards. So instead of the normal 30-35 degrees, we experienced 10 to 15 degrees. On the water, with the breeze, it was necessary to dress up with warm sweaters and jackets. The cold showers that you would normally pray for were now a place to avoid as much as possible. But it didn't take anything away from the experience. We still saw a lot of animals, even though they told us most of them were hiding because of the weather. On our first day, we met the group at the travel agency before heading out to the Pampas. A Dutch couple who we met early in La Paz, an Australian and American guy, and Aranka and I. The first 3 hours we traveled with a jeep towards the water. Within an hour, the driver spotted a sloth in one of the trees. We stopped for some photos and then headed over to a lunch spot, where we saw our first parrot. This one obviously didn't live in the wild, but still was beautiful to see. When we arrived at the river, we met our guide Choco, a very friendly guide with great knowledge about the area. Before getting in the boat, we spotted the first caiman, which from a distance we mistook for a plastic one. It was a 2.5-hour boat ride before we reached our eco lodge. During the boat ride, we saw already so many kind of animals, lots of birds like the egret, ibis, and tropical birds, and then we came across a few monkeys. We continued on the river and saw so much more. We saw over 100 caimans lying by the river, and so many other different kinds of animals we were able to spot. We felt a little spoiled today with so many animals, like the capybara, turtles, and so many birds. And here we spot a red coati, which according to the guide isn't found daily, but it was too quick to get it perfectly on camera. Finally we arrived at the eco lodges, where we slept high and dry, and we got a cabin all to ourselves. We enjoyed the sunset and a nice dinner, and then we go out on the water again to spot caimans in the dark. They give themselves away because their eyes turn red when you shine a flashlight directly at them. We start the next day in a swamp looking for anacondas. The guide told us it would be hard to find because of the cold weather. With our boots on, we try to spread out to raise our chances. Despite our effort, we didn't see one. However, we did find a red deer, which apparently is also rare to spot. And then we heard the macaws. These birds were high on our list to photograph in the Amazon. After a bit of walking, we spotted an anteater in one of the trees. Or rather, the guide did. On our way back to the boat, we were lucky enough to see some monkeys up close. Once we were back at camp for lunch, we spotted this huge crested caracara in the garden. After lunch, we went back into the boat and watched the others trying to catch some piranhas. Apparently, you can feel the nibbling of the piranhas continuously, but catching them turned out to be harder than expected. Only one of them was able to catch one, but it got thrown back into the river because it was too small.
This is good size for it.
After a while, it was time to return and warm up in the lodge. On the last day of our 3-day trip, Aranka got up early and took these beautiful photos of the sunrise. This day was a little warmer, but not warm enough to stick to the plan. Instead of swimming with the dolphins, we just try and find them. Apparently, when you see dolphins, you know there won't be any piranhas and caiman in the water. They create a safe space for humans to enjoy the water with them. And then we went to see the big ones, the black caiman. They are so huge that a few times I was afraid he could flip us over. After spotting this howler monkey, we told the guide we would really love to see the macaws. With his fine-tuned ears, he stopped at a spot. We went ashore, and sure enough, we spotted them there.
Oh, shit!
And after our last monkey encounter, it was time to drive back to Rurrenabaque. But on our way, we spotted a snake. We spent one more night in Rurrenabaque before we returned to La Paz. We decided to go out for drinks and see if there were any parties going on. We drank a few cocktails too many and returned to the hostel. After breakfast, we go for a small hike and watch the Copa America finals in a local bar. After these wonderful days, it is time to go back to La Paz and enjoy the last few days of Aranka's visit. We fly above the beautiful rainforest and over the gorgeous Andes mountain range. When we arrived back in La Paz, we were surprised by the celebrations of Independence Day. We still have a lot of things planned you will see in the next episode. We go mountain biking on Death Row and visit Isla del Sol.